Right, time to talk about the 5 things we learned from yet another 0-0 away draw down on the South Coast on Sunday. Let's talk about the main positive defensively. Newcastle United look absolutely rock solid this season. 3 0-0 draws. Yes, we're not scoring enough goals, but you've got to take the positives from defensively. Bournemouth will not have a quieter afternoon at home all season. Malik Chow came in. I thought he was pretty good. Obviously, he had a bit of a shaky end to the game before he got hooked off, where he could have got a red card on another day, but generally he's only going to get better. I thought Sven Botman looked back to his best, pretty much flawless. Just fingers crossed he continues to get stronger and stronger and the injuries are behind him. But Dan Burn was immense again. I think arguably in terms of options when everybody is fit, we could have one of the best defence back lines with full-backs and centre-backs included in the Premier League. At number 2, Lewis Hall, and I know he's part of that back line, but as an individual, to see him back in the team was just delightful. He wasn't at his best, but he hasn't had many Premier League minutes. But my God, wasn't it nice to see a left footer at left back, and he's going to offer assists like he got last season. And it's just great to see him back. Big positive. Next up, less of a positive, Joe Willock. Look, we've got to talk about him. Eddie Howe's got a massive job on his hands, in my opinion, to figure out where this guy's head's at. I trust Howe that he thought he was in a good place to be putting him in, but he just looks so low on confidence, quite lethargic in his running when he has the ball at his feet. And that Joe Willock we once saw running past players down the left-hand side just isn't there. And right now, he's not offering very much. And when Jacob Ramsey comes back, he's going to go further down the pecking order. At number 4, squad depth, which I do actually see as a positive. Look, I was as shocked as anyone to see the team when it came out. 7 changes. Bruno, Joe Linton didn't even get on. Alanga and Barnes on the bench. But a couple of years ago, when we were last in the Champions League and we just burnt out, we could have only dreamt of making 7 changes and competing to a point where we kept Bournemouth so quiet. And yes, we weren't great on the attacking front, but that's something we're in a transition with. But the squad that we've always needed looks like it's slowly getting there to allow Eddie Howe to actually do this. Finally, a draw against Bournemouth wasn't the only trend we saw continue on Sunday. I'm not saying it's a great characteristic of a manager, but Eddie Howe always seems to start seasons slow. 22-23 season, 23-24 season. Guess how many points we had after 5 matches? That's right, 6. In both those seasons, we needed a big win to catapult our season. Remember the 4-1 win when Almiron scored the screamer? And that absolute demolition job just after we played Milan at Sheffield United. Even if Bournemouth, he always started seasons slow. It's probably because of his intense style, but times all of that this summer by 100 with players coming in late like Voltemade, the injury to Wissa, the injury to Ramsey, and the whole Isak saga. It's been difficult and it's going to be a slow transition. Look, I'm not making excuses. We need to improve in attack, but I would much rather at this stage of the season be conceding very, very few and struggling to score than scoring a lot and conceding a ton. There's something to build on there, and it's a rock-solid defence. Look, let us know your thoughts down below, Newcastle fans, and as always, keep the faith. Are we there?